What's up, everybody? It's the Stable Lad with another weekly Friday update on some of the things I'm looking at in terms of yield in stablecoins and crypto. And I'm going to show you actually a few positions that I've actually put some of my money into and added to the portfolio this week. There were things that I was looking at and they were just sort of too enticing. So earlier this week, I decided to swap over some of my stablecoins from the Ethereum mainnet over to Arbitrum. As this sort of bull market heats up, I do expect DeFi to continue to sort of really pick up steam on some of these other blockchains. Arbitrum, these are the L2 blockchains, and I do a whole deep dive on layer 1s versus layer 2 blockchains and what they are and all that kind of stuff. But sort of suffice to say, and just to kind of make this video a quick Friday update on what I'm looking at, I decided to move some money over because I think two things are going to happen. I think the Ethereum blockchain is going to get more congested, meaning that the price and the fees to use the blockchain are going to go higher. In 2021, I was doing simple swaps of interesting assets, and I was paying $500 just to swap one asset to another. At the height of that blockchain, I don't know that it'll ever get to that high again, because ETH has done some things to, improve their chain speed and transaction costs and all that kind of stuff. And who knows if it ever gets that nutty over there again. But I do expect the fees to use the Ethereum blockchain to keep getting higher. And so at this point in the market, I'm moving more and more of my assets over to different blockchains that are a little bit cheaper. So Arbitrum is one of those, Base is another one. I'll probably start messing around with other competing layer 1 blockchains like Solana and Avalanche at some point. But right now, I decided to move some money over to Arbitrum specifically. So all I did this week was I was looking and sort of staring at what was available in Arbitrum. So again, starting with DeFi Llama, if we come over here, I'll kind of show you what I did, right? So I go to DeFi Llama. We're going to go down here to yields. We're going to go to stablecoin pools. And then we're going to go over here to chains. So we can see we could just look at Ethereum only, right? If we're just playing on Ethereum, it's Ethereum only, Solana, Tron, all these other ones. I'm going to Arbitrum only here. And then we'll take a look at what's available in APY. So I just click on this APY here, which sorts it from the highest APY to the lowest. And I just kind of taking a gander and seeing what's available out here. The first couple things that popped out at me were these pools on Uniswap and SushiSwap, right? Two good dexes that I feel comfortable investing in, and I've done, and I'll sort of link in this video too, just to the deep dive I did on dexes in case you haven't watched that. But essentially, these are between Uniswap is a grade A protocol for me. SushiSwap is pretty much grade B, but a B plus. It's battle tested. It's been around for a long time. It's got a lot less volume on it, but I still think it's really good. So these are two things that I was considering. And I've mentioned many times that when you kind of take a look at DeFi Llama, it might show 31% here. You're going to want to go over to Uniswap itself and make sure that's actually accurate. That's not helpful. It didn't take us to the right page here. Let's see if this one does. Nope. All right, so if it's not taking us directly to the page we want, we'll have to look here, DAI USDT. So we'll go here. We'll just go to Explore, Pools. We'll go here to the Arbitrum blockchain. And let's just take a look at, we'll just type in DAI here. And here's our DAI USDT thing. So we can see the pool here says 9.31. This pool says 8.58. We can even do here and see what else, here, DAI USDT, the highest one is 9.31, which is not matching up to this 31% that we're seeing here on DeFi Llama. So I always recommend that when you look at it on DeFi Llama, it's just getting a base idea of what's available out there. Then you got to click through and see what those numbers really are. So when I did that, what I actually found was I found this pool of USDC and USDT paying 24.67%. And this is on version 2, which means I can't tighten the range, and I'm not sure that this APR that we're seeing here is going to be steady at all. I mean, it's never steady, but I'm not sure if I'm actually going to get that APR. So I'm going to watch this really, really carefully, but I decided I'm just going to deploy some capital in here. So I deployed a small amount of capital into this liquidity pool, and I'm just going to watch it every single day and just see what the APR is. I'm going to follow it along. Right now, if you add to this and you look in the pool, it might not show the same amount. So if that sort of stays at 24% for a week, cool, I'm keeping it in there. If it's at 3% or 4% or 5% and I'm just not happy with the APR, then I'm just going to switch it out of this position. So I'll watch this every single day. And that's one of the other benefits of using Arbitrum. The transactions are super cheap and super fast. So for 5, 6 cents, maybe even less, I can just swap out positions into completely different stuff if I don't like this position. The next thing I noticed, as I mentioned, was pools on SushiSwap. So I clicked over, and of course, SushiSwap was much more accurate. It's still not exactly the same, but it's much more accurate. So this DAI USDT pool on SushiSwap is paying 27.5%. That's a pretty good pool. We could take a look at fees here. The fees aren't like all that great. You know, spiky days where you're sharing in a pool of $238 worth of fees. So again, I'm not certain how well this is going to perform, if this is going to perform, you know, up to this 27% that it's saying here, but I put some money in here to try it. I'm just going to kind of glance at this pool every single day and make sure that I'm making around that 27%. If I am, heck, this is a fantastic pool, 27%. I'll take it all day long. When I scroll down further, I happen to see this this pool right here, AlUSD and USDC on Stake DAO, and it mentions here that it's on Curve. So if you come down here, you can actually see the same thing here on Curve, AlUSD, USDC on the Curve DEX. You can see there's 660,000 in here. On Curve, it's paying 14.82%, a small base fee of 31 basis points, and then Curve rewards of 14.5%, which is really, really good. I don't mind making Curve rewards. Curves is a grade A protocol for me. I feel really comfortable putting assets there and making Curve rewards. And at this point in the bull market, I'll probably just sell the Curve rewards, but I might actually hold a little bit of them too, just because I think we're in a sort of bullish setup for a long bull market, and I may hold those rewards a little bit. So what you would do for this one is you would go over to your Curve pools. I've already kind of pre-populated this here. I'm on the Arbitrum blockchain, which you can go to up here. And then I just typed in AlUSD here, and it brought up this pool. Now, AlUSD is, if you know, I'm doing the research kind of on your behalf maybe here for this channel, but if you found an interesting stablecoin, you can just kind of look up what that is, and ChatGPT can probably help you research that all. But AlUSD is a stablecoin issued by a protocol called Alchemix. And Alchemix is just a super cool DeFi protocol that was built around 2021. And what they do, which is unique to everybody else, is what's called self-repaying loans. And so you could put your ETH or a bunch of other things as collateral. You could put a stablecoin as collateral. It doesn't really matter. And then you can borrow against that, and the loan repays itself back. And so Alchemix does this really cool, beautiful stuff in the back end where they take, you know, they kind of act like a bank where they take the money that you put up there for collateral, and they invest that in a bunch of different ways in the blockchain, and then they make some money, the protocol makes some money, and then whatever sort of left over after the money that they like to make, they start putting it towards repaying your loan. So your loan actually repays itself. You could borrow and never have to figure out how to repay that loan, which is a really cool thing. So I think that as the market gets hotter, Alchemix is going to get a lot more love, a lot more attention, and people are going to start putting some more self-paying loans into it. And so I think this pool might see a lot more action. So what happens is when you put money in, you borrow AlUSD against it, and then generally AlUSD is not that used throughout crypto. It's kind of like a smaller stable coin. So there's not a lot of places that sort of take AlUSD. So what people do is they swap AlUSD for UCSD, like right away. And so you come to this pool and you would swap you'd get your AlUSD from your loan, and you'd swap it for USDC so that you can use it throughout all of crypto, because USDC is one of the most popular stablecoins in crypto. So I think this pool is just going to get a lot more love, and I think that's why they're incentivizing. Curve is incentivizing it up to these amounts. Now, what you can do on top of these 14%, which is still really good, is you can come over here to Stake DAO, and here's the same pool on Stake DAO, and you can get a 1.38 boost here, which boosts your 14% to 16.53%. It's not a huge boost or anything like that, but it's 2 extra percent. It's pretty awesome. And so that's exactly what I did. I put money into the Curve pool, and then I came over here and I locked it up in a liquid locker on Stake DAO. And so what Stake DAO basically does is it takes your Curve rewards and it pools it with a ton of other people's Curve rewards, and that increases the boost. So when you lock up Curve, which is the reward token that we're getting here, you get a boost from Curve. Curve pays you just an additional amount when you're locking up their own token. And when you pool those curves together, those Curve tokens together with a larger amount of Curve, your boost just increases. And so that's what Stake DAO is doing basically, is it's pooling my Curve rewards with a bunch of other people's Curve rewards to increase the boost. They take a small percentage of it, and then they give us the rest of the boost. Hence, we get a slightly larger APY. I did notice one more thing here that I didn't pop up. Let's take a look down here. Let's see. I'm not seeing it here. Here. Here it is. Go. I didn't pop it up, but here I found this thing, this Go, which is Aave's stablecoin on Fluid lending, and I love Fluid. I think Fluid is a great lending protocol. They're really growing and building. This has got $3 million, almost $3.5 million in the pool. It's in the lending pool itself. And as you can see here, Fluid has their own token, and they're incentivizing the growth of this pool. So they're paying 11.45% incentivization to grow this pool. So it's almost 12.5%. Again, you want to go here and check and make sure it's the same. But yeah, it's paying 12% here. And so I decided I'm going to pop some money into this pool. Fluid is a grade B protocol for me, so I'm not going to put a ton of money into it in my entire diversification strategy. So I spread money all over the place, right? Small amounts here and there, so I have no assets that could destroy me in any one solution, one situation. Oh, there's my dog. Just wanted to say hi to you all. So I just put a small amount of money into this one, but I love this. 12% for just sitting here and lending your assets out. Goes a really good coin issued from the Aave blockchain, which is growing tremendously. I think, in fact, I just saw here, if we take a look, Aave, take a look at my Twitter here. Aave just surpassed another bank. They're ranked number 38. So they're bigger than Synovus. They're bigger than Valley. They're bigger than South State. They're like, look at this, $67 billion in deposits. If Aave was a bank, they're ranked number 38. There's a top 40 bank, and it's all built on crypto. It's remarkable what Aave's doing. And so I trust their stablecoin. I'm happy to hold it. It's maybe not, I'm not as comfortable as USDC, but I'm pretty darn comfortable with it. And 12% is pretty good. So definitely something I added to my portfolio. So that's the Friday update. That's what I've been looking at this week. And sometimes with these updates, I'm showing you just sort of things that I'm looking at. These are things that I've actually deployed. So I've showed you 4 different positions that I've actually deployed. There's a bunch of other good stuff here, like Harmonix is another protocol that I've put money into. That I would put a small amount. I would be happy to put a small amount in here. Here's USDC Harmonix. So there's $500,000 in here, and it's paying 13, almost 14%. Another decent one. Some of these other smaller ones, I would just skip them. I wouldn't even consider this. 55,000, it's too small of a pool. I'd be worried about that position. But I love some of these other ones, these pools here, and I'm going to watch these ones. As I said, these liquidity pools in decentralized exchanges, they're highly volatile, and so I'm going to watch these ones at least really closely within the first week. I'm going to take a look at them every single day. If I don't like them, I'm just going to move them into something else, right? So I might move them into this silo pool, right? Silo is another interesting protocol I would consider working with. Harmonix, I might put it in there. So if these don't work out, I'm spreading out to a bunch of other things. But that's what I'm looking at this week, and hopefully this was just another helpful sort of weekly update for you to see what I'm looking at, how I look at it, how I sort of evaluate some of these things. And if you keep watching these every week, you'll start to see kind of how I think and how I evaluate risk, how much I'm sort of deploy within each thing. And you could see how I spread things out so that there's no one position that even if I lost all my money in that position, which I think it's highly unlikely, it's not going to destroy my portfolio. It's that's how I spread out the risk. Until next Friday or until next video, I'm the Stable Lad.
I'm the Stable Lad, and if you like today's video, please hit that subscribe button. Every week I break down what's happening in the world of stablecoins and why it matters, clearly, calmly, and without the hype. This channel is for educational purposes. It is not meant to be financial advice, so always do your own research and manage your risk wisely.